Good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello, hello. This is the Bobbi Jo and Sheena show. I being Bobbi Jo and my friend and colleague Sheena Kantar. Hello, Sheena. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon from me and good morning from Bobbi Jo. So today's, which is a really good one actually to follow on from yesterday, lesson 6, thinking into results. So as Bobbi Jo tells you, every time we are Bob Proctor consultants and we've studied thinking into results for the last 5 years, let me tell you, if you've been studying it and you did it, I studied it. No, 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 you live it. You live, we've lived it every single day for 5 years. Oh my goodness gracious me. And I'm so glad that I got to teach it because I don't think I would have learned what I have learned. I needed to teach it, honest to
Mhm.
goodness. So this lesson is all about the self-image. Oh, and let me tell you some stories about self-image. In fact, let me actually just tell you about me whenever I was 19. And my mummy had told me that I didn't have a brain, that I wasn't academic, and there was no point in me going on to university. And she laughed at the fact that I would even think that I could become a vet. Bless her cotton socks. But actually, she was talking about herself, not me. She didn't realize how intelligent her little daughter was. So anyway, at 19, I went to go join the RAF and I did an IQ test and it came out at 140. And I remember them, saying to me, well, you don't need to have another interview. You've passed officer training. And I'm like, well, I came here to be a secretary because my mummy told me that I was a secretary and that's all I'd ever be. And so when they were telling me that I was going for officer training, I'm like, oh my God, they've got the wrong results. They've got the wrong results. Oh my goodness. I was embarrassed and I never told a soul. I left there. I never answered any more emails because I thought they've got the wrong person. And it wasn't until I studied thinking into results that I realized my self image told me that I was a medical secretary and that was it. End of story.
Mm.
There was no way that I was a leader. And so, what's your self image telling you today?
But we talked about this yesterday. That was perception, somebody else's perception of you that you bought into, and that's your story. And so, this was really a big, big lesson. And I think it's one of the biggest ones. That's how I feel about all of them. But, I just said to Sheena before we started, I think we're still working on this one because we're always still growing into who we magically are because we have a hard time believing who that we are because you have 50 years of thinking one way and to just totally erase all that. And that's what it is. That's what quantum physics is. We're erasing all of this and starting over and being like, who is that? How do you show up? Who is it you want to be? I had some good questions that I did for my client the other day that she was really surprised by by what she is. It's like, who is it that you used to be? Who are you now? And who is it you want to be? And she thought it was going to be about the job and money, and it really wasn't in the end. It was about who she really wants to step into and how far. It's a mind mess up, let's say for sure, instead of using a swear in there, because if you're just studying this stuff for the first time, for the first year, it is mind boggling because what we're saying right now, you don't even have a concept of what we're really saying. You're like, what do you mean I'm not me? Of course I am me. This is who I am. But it's the conditioning and the programming of your cultural paradigm, like Sheena's mom saying to her, and where she grew up in North Ireland, you're a woman, you're not, you have all this pressure of just putting you down and holding you there, and you start to believe your worth there. And there's this cybernetic mechanism in our brain that's like a thermometer that keeps us at a level of where we make money, of where our weight is, of what we believe we can do. And when you start really scratching that and going, wow, this is what I believe, but this is what I truly want, and they're not the same place. So you can go deep, deep, deep here.
One of the things that I've realized is, like a lot of times people study personal development because they want to get more in life. And
Mm.
so you change the imagination and you change this and you change that and change the other. But actually the one thing that is going to change everything in your whole life and will do it all for you is the very concept of who you think you are. So just like I spoke yesterday about, if you think that you're a loser and that you're a medical secretary and that's it and that's all you're supposed to be, then that's all you will be. So I'll tell you what it took for me was a shift, was actually a divorce. Because you get married and you're told that you're going to get married and you'll be happy for the rest of your life, and then I don't know, somebody else has a different idea of what that is, and so that apparently happens to me. But actually, it was something I was see in my evolution that was in my growth that I had it happen to me. Must have chosen that experience on some level to wake me up. Because what I
Mm.
did was I knew then, Bobbi Jo, that energy couldn't be created or destroyed, because no matter how angry I was, it wasn't going away. In fact, it was getting worse and worse. And I had a son at the time, and I knew that I had to be a good mum, and I couldn't be a good mum if I was an angry mum. So what I did was I took all that anger and I thought, I'm going to put it into something positive. So I put it into a degree in computer science, and I was the only girl in that class to pass the degree with honors, and it was so good. It was like one for the girls, you know. But that's what it took for me to realize that. I remember my first oh my goodness, my first paper that I handed in, and she sent it back to me with a D on it, and I went up to her and I said, I thought I did a really good job, you know. And she goes, it's not A, B, C, D here, it's D for distinction. I went, never had a distinction in my life. My goodness. So, from then I started to see, oh, I do have a brain. So it took for me to have a life event to go and take something. So if anything's happened to you, don't dwell on it. Use that energy to see what's already in you to come out. And then you start to have a better concept of yourself. So just like Bobbi Jo was saying, it's always something we're working on, but it's actually understanding and remembering that you are infinite intelligence, whether you believe that or not. And I'm playing the role of Sheena. And who do I want Sheena to be? And I used to not like myself. And I used to walk past the mirror and go, ugh. But now I remember in this lesson, Bob says, wake up, kiss
Mhm.
yourself. I love and appreciate this character, Sheena, so much. I don't know clue what she's going to do sometimes. Sometimes she just messes up. Sometimes she's happy. Sometimes she's sad. Sometimes she just gets it all completely wrong. But I absolutely love the story that and it helps me appreciate other people's stories as well without judgment. I can
Yes.
appreciate your story.
But the thing you just said there, though, you said when I do things wrong or I mess up, there is no messing up and there is no wrong. It's part of the journey and everything is in divine order. And if you need 10 mess ups, you need 10 mess ups because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's where I've fallen into these days. I can't mess up. I only can just keep putting one foot in front of the other and every day wake up with a smile and just love where you're at and get a little bit better every day. Don't beat ourselves up. We're really good at that. Even if you fail, it's not failing. You're learning. So it's a whole switch in our perception of what we're seeing here. And there's always a great quote that Sheena and I know forward and backwards from this lesson. It's not who we think we are that holds us back. It's who we think we're not. Like
Powerful.
before, and she was so right. We were always trying to get years ago if we were doing this whatever we're doing here, on YouTube, it would be about getting, oh, we're going to need clients. And now we're just two friends sharing this information because it's really needed out there and we enjoy it. So I'm not here just talking to my best friend and I'm not trying to get anything and just enjoying it. But it's like who we think we are is not who we think whatever. It's holding us back. It's like, we're not Oprah Winfrey. We're not like this big thing. So let's not do that. And we would hold ourselves back. But it's like, yeah, that's right. We're Sheena and Bobbi Jo. And we're just here shining our light for others to see and to just grow a tribe of kindness and love in the world that's really needed. So we can go round and round, but I love it. We could do this all 12 lessons back to back again, and we'd come up with different stuff to talk about. And that's the fun of it all. So if you like us down below. Tell us about you. Tell your friend about it, right? Thanksgiving is coming. Talk about us. Be like, there are these two girls, and they just think off the cuff so differently. Because I know when I talk to my friends or other people, they're just like, they just stare at me kind of and they drop their jaw a little bit because they're just not used to people. I don't complain about things. I take charge of my life. I talk about beautiful things. I let others rise. It's refreshing, people. So give it a try. Like us, subscribe. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
And love yourself more than ever. Cheerio now. Happy Thanksgiving.